And on that note, it is 7 o'clock, so there's a lot to get through. I'll crack on straight away and start the meeting. So to both councillors and public alike, thank you for attending. This is Ramsgate Town Council's annual town meeting on the 31st of March 2021. And to start with, I'd just like to say my name is Councillor Anne-Marie Nixie. I'm the chair of Ramsgate Town Council, and I hold this position because this year one of the main things that happened in Ramsgate Town Council is our dearly beloved councillor and friend Peter Campbell passed away, and therefore I took up the role from vice chair. He has been instrumental in just about everything we're about to report on, and it's with his hard work and fortitude that we are who we are today. So I just like that noted. Anyway, carrying straight on, we have item number 1, which is minutes from the last town meeting. We need a proposer and seconder to make sure those are adequately sorted. Do we have a proposer, please?
I'll propose, Anne-Marie.
Thank you. That's Councillor Ara. Do we have a seconder, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. That's Councillor Green. Okay, item number 2 is the report from the Town Clerk. That's over to Richard Stiles. Thank you very much.
Right, very quickly, I did a few notes for what happened last year. We started the expectation that we would continue to progress on various different projects and carry on making our small but significant improvements within the town. We think the public is noticing these activities, and we are making every effort to make sure that they do see that we're doing it. Staff are uniformed, they have high-vis vests with RTC on it, and the vehicles have very prominent signs on them, and they are all electric. As we said, the RTC vehicles are distinctive. It's, as I said, it's not only saying what it's going to do, but it actually does it on carbon reduction and so many other things. During February, they're starting to worry about a disease from China, or appeared to originate in China. No one knew very much about it, but by March, it had really got hold, and the country went into lockdown, and so did we to some extent. The town council carried on operating, and in fact, during the first lockdown, we spent a lot of time. We set up a a food bank supply service or logistics service, and we supplied all the food banks, and there was many started opening up all over the place, and a lot of them were starting by, on a very small scale by volunteers, and we supplied the whole of Thanet. We didn't just restrict ourselves to Ramsgate, though we did a lot there. We went all over the place, and we worked with other organisations on the ground and other town councils that did operate, which were mainly only just one, which was Westgate. Most of the others, they didn't do very well. If they did anything, they did, some of them did one or two little bits and pieces, but certainly nothing in the way of food banks. That went on till August last year, and then we started to get back to normal, and the things were unlocked again. But in the autumn of the year, it got worse and worse, and eventually another lockdown was introduced, and we've been using Bradford House as a food bank sort of warehouse and distribution facility, but this time we've kept our activities to Ramsgate only. We did all the other things you normally expect us to do, such as we did the Christmas lights and various things, but obviously crowds couldn't see any of it, so they all had to be done virtually, and we cut back tremendously on our events, and hopefully this year things will improve. Anyway, it's all written down in the report. If there's anything else, and it will go online, this thing. We reckon that at least it cost us at least £20,000 to carry out the work on the food banks. NALC, our representative body, is still trying to hammer away at the government to give First Tier Council some money, but I don't think. Well, they've been asking all year, and there's been a resolute silence from central government, so I don't really expect there very much to it. One never knows. You can always hope. But there we go. And in 2021, RTC will continue with its focused improvements. Hopefully, Albion Gardens will be transferred at some time. I still haven't heard anything from the District Council about that. And obviously, Radford House will continue. We'll work on that. I spoke to the Architectural Heritage Foundation. They've appointed a kind of like a mentor, person called Sarah Pilton or whatever, some name like that. And I had 2 hours with them this morning, and they will. We obviously be monitoring our activities on that one. Hopefully, we should be able to start work on Radford House by the end of the year, because all the finances will be in place and everything else. Depends on various circumstances on that one. And we have agreed we would help back with the Welcome Back scheme, but we haven't heard anything from District about that at all. But we think that will probably mean practical terms, more flowers, a spring clean with the power washer, and a better looking town for visitors and residents alike. There you go. Any questions?
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Good.
Councillor Ara, thank you.
Richard, so are we having the hanging baskets in the town centres and the palm trees?
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. The palm trees will go back to where they used to go. The reason we didn't put them in the town centre is because the District Council didn't want us to do it. So we had to group them up and had them on the outside. But this year, hopefully with everybody vaccinated and much less, I suspect we'll probably still have to wear masks and keep social distancing for some considerable time. That seems to be the rumours going around. There's nothing, set in stone about that. But I suspect that's what will happen. But we won't have to worry so much about setting up sort of crowding points where people will bunch up together because of the vast numbers that have been vaccinated already. So as far as we know, it should all be back to normal for this year. Hopefully better than it was. Better.
So do we have a date? Do we have a date for everything? Because as you know, we'll be opening on the 12th of April.
Well, the palms won't be out by then because it'll be too cold for them, but they'll certainly be out by their normal times, which is May, sometime early May. I'll try and get them out for then. I will speak to the nursery and see how far they are along with it. We have to be a bit minded about them because they obviously it's their busy time as well, because they will be expecting people to be buying plants and things, which is their main business. But I would have thought that middle May, possibly early June, all the palms will be out by then, and we'll be start planting up other flower beds wherever we can find them, and some of those boxes that are along Harbour Parade, if we get hold of them, they'll be used as displays as well.
Is the buntings going to come up as well?
Nobody's asked about that. Well, I suppose you can put it up. Yeah.
Is it possible, please? It looks welcoming.
It depends what sort of condition it's in. It was out there for over a year, so it's possible can't be all that good. But we'll look at it, and if it's any good, we'll put it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've got Councillor Wing, then Councillor Piper. Thank you, Councillor Wing.
I'd just like to say thank you really to Ramsgate Town Council for the distribution centre. I mean, I couldn't do face-to-face work, so ended up doing quite a lot of delivering on behalf of the Sally Army and still do collections from Sainsbury's. But without and the way it was so quickly set up as well, once I'd been to Sharon's and thought there's no way we can manage this through Sharon's, thousands of people were literally fed as a consequence of that food being collected stored, sorted, and then redistributed. So I think as a town, we need to be incredibly proud of what we achieved, actually, and the workers should be incredibly proud of what we achieved, because and the fact that we were prepared to share our resources across Thanet, because we knew there was a common need for a lot of people in Thanet. The next thing I want to say is, I think over the coming year, we need to look at how we distribute maybe our workforce. I've been back out doing my job, which mainly takes me into Newington and Northwood, on foot, door knocking, and I cannot believe the amount of litter and dumped items in those two areas. It might be the same in other areas, but it was just shocking. I was absolutely shocked, and it very much feels like communities that have lost their way a bit, and I know they haven't, because I work with quite a lot of families in those residential areas. I definitely think we've got to work together with Ramsgate Town Council and maybe as part of the Ramsgate Spring Clean, and I think it's going to take those milk floats and a group of us helping to clear big areas of that, and then that will help encourage the locals to get involved as well. We definitely got to do something, because those two areas are in quite a shocking state. The other thing I'd like to say is we're obviously launching Ramsgate in Bloom again. So we did fabulously well last year, but I'd like to see more areas. So I've actually put Addington Street down as an area within Bloom. The whole remit is, the large percentage of it is about engaging the community. So let's see if we can spread the Ramsgate in Bloom out of the town centre and into other areas and streets and individual homes and businesses. So that's it. But we've had a great year, really, considering it's been a difficult year.
Thank you. I think I'm reminded that in terms of questions, councillors aren't allowed to use this particular forum for that. However, if that was something that was to be proposed at another meeting, then that's definitely something that Ramsgate Council could be taking on. Thank you. Councillor Piper, Stuart Piper, thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for allowing the question. It's a technical one, really. We, as members, can see initials of members and our officers who are in attendance. Is there any way that our administration team, perhaps Dean Williams, is able to see if members of the public have been able to join? I don't need an answer immediately, but I was just wondering whether actually the council can see, even if it's only members of the public who are in attendance. Thank you.
Well, I can answer that for you, Stuart. I know that Dean is aware of people that can see who's viewing that. So I can't, but I know that our administrator can. Thank you. Okay, and on that note, thank you very much, Town Clerk, and for your time. We'll go straight on to our very hard-working Mayor. And so, Councillor Ara, if you'd like to update on mayoral duties, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah. As you know, it's been a difficult year, but I am honored to be the Mayor of Ramsgate, especially for 2020 and some of 2021 as well. And thank you to my PA, Kim Hobbs, with all her support and hard work. So my first event was the 30th of July. I recorded the video message for East Kent Man Cup. They had a fun day where I recorded a message for the members. They were online, so everybody could see it. So that was one of the really, incredible things that I managed to do, and I was really proud to do it. And as you know, Man Cup is one of my chosen charities as well. On the 16th of August, I attended VJ Day service and led the wreaths on behalf of the people of Ramsgate. 15th of September, on the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, I attended at the RAF Minster Memorial to lead the wreath on behalf of the people of Ramsgate again. 27th of October, I attended to raising the British Legion poppy appeal flag ahead of the Remembrance Day. 6th of November, I attended the Pan-African Ahmadiyyan Muslim Association virtual remembrance service, which I was really proud to receive this invitation, which was attended by people from all over the country, interfaith leaders, MPs, other mayors, and other dignitaries. That was wonderful that I managed to attend that event as well. On the 11th of November, Amnesty Day, I laid the wreath on behalf of the people at the Destiny, World War I Memorial, Albion Garden, and the Ramsgate Cemetery, World War II Memorial places with other dignitaries. On the 12th of November, I opened the Our Shop with Sharon Goodyear, the summer kitchen, which I believe that at present they are serving almost 800 members within Thanet, and this is a very excellent service that Sharon is providing for our community, and which is supporting so many people who are in need. And I wish Sharon a very best of luck for the coming year. On the 29th of November, I switched on the virtual Christmas lights. 3rd of December, I helped deliver Christmas presents to Our Shop again for the food club at St. George's Hall. Again, on the 4th of December, I did the same Christmas gifts was delivered at Salvation Army for the food bank people, as well as other people who actually go and use the Salvation Army. On the 17th of December, I attended virtual award ceremony for the pupils of Royal Harbour Academy School. They invited me to present a trophy to 3 of their best students of the year, which was done virtually. 18th of December, I recorded the Christmas message for the resident of Ramsgate, which was really, really good. And finally, on the 25th of December, I have worked alongside with Salvation Army to deliver Christmas meals to the vulnerable people in Ramsgate, which I managed to actually serve quite a few people who were sleeping rough around Ramsgate as well. On the 27th of January, I pre-recorded the Holocaust Memorial Service. As you know, due to the pandemic, we couldn't have a gathering for the Holocaust. So with the help of my PA again, Kim Hobbs, and the friends from the Jewish community, we managed to do a fantastic, pre-recorded message from myself and Rabbi Cliff, Carl Whitehead from Salvation Army, and few others. And then we had a Zoom meeting where about 67 people attended the meeting, and we had a discussion and questions and answers, which was I think again, I was honored to be, part of this event, which went very, very well. On the 12th of February, I laid a wreath on to mark the 79th anniversary of the Channel Dash at the Memorial commemorators to Operation Fuller at the harbour here in Ramsgate. On the 7th of March, International Women's Day, that was a very, very successful event. I did a cookery demo where I raised money for Oasis, and with support of my councillor colleagues and the residents, I managed to raise over £500. On the 8th of March, I also pre-recorded my speech for the International Women's Day, which went online. On the 9th of March, Interfaith Action Group, it's normally held at Canterbury, and they invited me to discuss about my activities in Ramsgate within Thanet. So they asked me to choose a topic, and my topic was Believe in Thanet. And I discussed about Believe in Thanet and how we are actually progressing and how much improvement we have made over the years. On the 11th of March, I attended the vaccination program at the Man Club at Foresters Hall. Again, this is, as you know, this is one of my charities, and this event was organized. The vaccination was programmed only for the members of the Man Club group only. And I think this is, I must say this, I would like to say a massive thank you to our community nurse who attended here and managed this program to carry out, and all the members are vaccinated, nicely and peacefully. I have received the thank you. I would like to say a massive thank you to Ramsgate Council to let me have £3,000 for my charities. As you know, I haven't managed to do any of the fundraising over the year due to the pandemic. So £1,000 I have already donated to the winter shelter. That's gone, and there's 2,000 left at the moment, and from that I will be donating this month, is in April, 500 each to East Kent Mancave, Four Landfields School, Ramsgate Sea Cadets, Ramsgate RNLI. I'm very grateful for permitting, for you to permit to make these donations. And also, I think some of you know already, I was also nominated the Heroes of 22 by Isle of Thanet News, and recently Incredible Woman of Isle of Thanet by Thanet Gazette. I think that completes the events program. And I would like to thank everybody who has supported me over the over the last year, especially. It's been a very, very difficult year, and my fundraising members, the committee members, Mayoral fundraising committee members, they have been very, very helpful, and especially Dean with IT, and Eileen with everything else, and my PA Kim, she has been very, very supportive. So I'm grateful to all of you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be the Mayor of Ramsgate for 2020. Thank you.
And thank you, Roshan, very much so. From all of us, we're very proud to have you representing us, and it's a fantastic amount of work you've done this year. So cheers for that. Thank you. Councillor Piper, you've got your hand up. I don't know if that was from previously or now. Okay, that's not a problem. Does anybody have any comments other than amazing? Does anybody like to say anything, or shall I move on? Okay, well, I'll move straight on. Thank you very much. We go straight into the Finance and General Purposes Committee report, and I'll hand straight over to Councillor Piper. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'll use this opportunity, if I may, also to offer thanks to Councillor Rausanara. She's done a fabulous job in very, very difficult circumstances, and we're very lucky to have her. Then I'd like to say that actually I'm saddened to be bringing this report to you because A, I don't think I deserve to, and B, I wish I didn't have to. And I would not be at all offended if colleagues and members of the public felt the same way. It should be Peter. Most of the work has been done directly by Peter, with Richard and Eileen and Dean and all the staff, and there are many hours of thinking and putting together projects for us to get involved in. And so with great humility, I offer these notes, which have been prepared for me by Eileen Richard, the Deputy Town Clerk. The Finance and General Purposes Committee report for the year 2020 to 2021. Again, for some colleagues and also members of the public, the remit of this committee is to give due regard to council accounts, council audits, both internal and external, staffing matters and contractors, and budget allocations. The committee has met regularly throughout the year. The last face-to-face meeting was in early March 2020, but all others have been online via Microsoft Teams meetings. All accounts were...
Can I just...
interrupt for a minute, Councillor Piper? Sorry. Chair, I've just had a telephone call from David Stevens, and other members of the public are waiting to be invited to the meeting, and they're still waiting. So could Dean sort that out for us, please? Thank you.
Have you turned your mic on?
Thank you. I'm sure Dean will be in charge of that. Thank you for letting us know.
Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. I was about to say that all accounts work has continued as normal under COVID restrictions. Budgets have all been maintained and all invoices have been processed with reports going to the relevant committee as per the calendar of meetings. RTC, as the Town Clerk has already mentioned, was able to assist with food banks in the form of collection and delivery of food, and a separate budget heading has been set up for COVID support, which again, as the Town Clerk has alluded to, will be ongoing for a while yet. The next specific stage for this committee is to look at the fourth quarter accounts at the end of April. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Piper. Has anybody got any comments? I take that as a no. Thank you very much. So if we could now go on to Councillor Green, who has the Town Promotion Committee's report. Thank you very much, Councillor Green.
Thank you, Chair. Despite the disrupted year that the Town Clerk spoke of, just under 250,000 visits have been made to the Council's website. And in total, the town's social media audience has increased by over 1,000 people this year. So people out there are still interested in us in Ramsgate, which is a good sign. The community ad magazine is now more frequent, changing from quarterly to bi-monthly, and it's distributed to 18,000 Ramsgate households. We've held back our normal leaflet distribution to London, Essex and Kent until the roadmap is indicating that we can open with outdoor activities. Thanks are due to Dean for his hard work and inspiration, which is behind all this effort. The active Ramsgate team have taken the last year to review and revamp the active Ramsgate website with many changes and improvements in its efficiency and impact, expected to be released later in the year. We have managed to secure government grants to promote 2 new activities involving sea swimming and cycling to add to our Active 8 offer. The Visitor Information Centre has been closed throughout the year and we hope to gradually reopen when restrictions allow. Rebecca, our Town Promotion Officer, has worked closely with the Ramsgate business community, supporting and advising them about grant entitlements. She has also kept in touch with the local voluntary and other organisations with an interest in Ramsgate's future, and ran a successful multifaceted Welcome Back campaign for summer 2020. You remember that? And is in the process of creating the 2021 version. Rebecca was instrumental in many others in the town in ensuring that Ramsgate was put forward for the Future High Street Fund, and has continued to work with TDC to support this application. She has also worked with Historic England to support the HAS project and the Historic High Streets Fund. For a full update of the town promoters' activities, please refer to the 5 reports written between March 2020 and March 2021 that are on the council's website. We have formed a partnership with a company called Museum to produce an online app, first in the country, to allow potential visitors to follow our historic town trails, both before they visit the town and when they are here. Details for residents will be in the next edition of the Community Ad magazine. We continue to press TDC to allow the development of the Marina car park on the East Cliff into a coastal sports facility with cycle and equipment hire, a ball court, climbing wall, trampolines, cafe and beach huts. We hope this year, after all these years of trying, and the current administration at TDC, that this will be going ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Green. I've got Linda Piper's hand up, so I'll start with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, David, for your report. We still have members of the public who can't access the meeting. I've had another text from David Stevens to say that they're still waiting. There must be a problem.
Just to let you know.
Can Dean sort that out, please?
I have been informed that because of the streaming and because of the technical, what's the word I'm looking for, sort of like, you know, force of what we've got, everything is being recorded. Everything will be online in YouTube after this. So if they're not able to watch it at the moment, they will be able to watch it later. Thank you. Anybody who'd like to comment on Councillor Green's report?
Aren't they supposed to be able to ask
Hello,
questions?
sorry, is that Councillor? Introduce yourself, sorry.
Sorry, aren't the public supposed to be able to ask questions?
I believe questions have been sent in.
So you got no right to reply?
They're going to be read out later on in the meeting, Councillor. Questions have been sent in and will be talked about later. Thank you. Right. Thank you, Councillor Green. I shall go on to the next report, which is the Amenities Committee, and I believe that Councillor Huxley will be reporting on this. Thank you.
Excuse me, Chair, point of order, please. This is Councillor Stuart Piper.
Okay, thank you.
Just very quickly, I think the point that Councillor Rozecki might have been making is that notwithstanding written questions have been submitted, because these reports from committees have not been seen by the public, they have not had the opportunity to ask questions about the reports as they have been presented. I think that was his concern. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Well, from what I've got from the agenda, we have got the questions later on, and that's what I've been instructed to do. Thank you. Councillor Huxley, thank you.
Hello, Chair. Sorry, I've been in meetings all day, so I asked, I didn't see Eileen's email till literally 5 minutes ago, so I haven't got the report. And Councillor Knight isn't here, he's the chair of the committee. So Eileen said she'd read it out for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Huxley. I'll hand over to the Deputy Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Sorry for the confusion there. Okay, the Amenities and Environment Committee, its remit is allotments, civic matters, civic assets, town improvements and Montefiore woodland matters. The last meeting was in October 2020. Due to the remit of the committee, it does have calendared meetings, but generally only meets when required. The chairman has been kept up to date on all matters relating to the 5 allotment sites that we look after, and the administration work for the sites has continued as normal, even under COVID restrictions. So your allotments officer has been working the whole time through COVID from home. Allotment tenants were kept up to date as far as restrictions were concerned with access to plots allowed under government guidelines. It seemed to work very well. We put notices up and the tenants were wonderful. A report has already been given on the activities of the Mayor over the past year. So that is all covered. Town improvements, the Town Clerk has covered, as you can see what the technicians have been doing all through the pandemic. And the next calendared meeting of the committee will be in July, unless there is something it needs to consider before then. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any comments? Not that we've got Councillor Knight here, but is there anything that we'd like noted at all? No, thank you. In that case, I shall go on to the last report from Councillor. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I don't know if anybody else is having the same problems as I'm getting. Most of the speeches, I can hardly hear anything at all. So it took me a while to get into this meeting as well. So if you hear any problems from me, I'm afraid it's out of my control. Right, the Planning and Infrastructure Committee from 2020 to 2021. The remit of the committee is as the statutory consultants for planning applications from both Thanet District Council and Kent County Council. Other consultations received from Thanet Council and KCC is a town plan for Ramsgate and our neighbourhood plan, which seems to have been going on forever. And hopefully it will be resolved this year. The last face-to-face meeting was in 2020. All meetings have been online via Microsoft Teams, as our colleague Councillor Piper has already stated. Over the past year, the committee has been consulted on 214 Thanet District Council planning applications and one application from Kent County Council. The neighbourhood planning group has reported back to the committee, but the pandemic has hampered its process because obviously we've not been able to meet, and it's a complicated issue, and meeting online is not the best thing for trying to resolve a neighbourhood plan. That's about it in relation to the planning and infrastructure, although I would want to make reference to Radford House, Chair. As the Chair of Radford House Development, I'd like to advise that both the planning and listed building applications have been submitted to the Thanet District Council and are in due process. I think what's important in relation to Radford House Development is that we as a council have decided on we want the best that we could have in relation to the green environment. So things like such as solar panels, electric vehicle charging points, looking at different ways of heating the building, have all been taken into account, and obviously is all part of that particular cost. But we felt it as a council, it was a very important thing that we should be carrying out. So that's it as far as this report is concerned, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Alban. Does anybody have any comments about that particular report? Thank you. No, thank you very much. So we do have questions that have been sent in from the public. There are 3 in total, and I will now hand over to the Deputy Town Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. The first question has been sent in by Angela Stevens, and the question is, why is Ramsgate Town Council considering buying an expensive piece of land in Thornhill near Minster that is in the village's constituency and not in Ramsgate? I believe Councillor Green will respond to this question. Thank you.
You're on mute, Councillor Green, sorry.
Thank you, Eileen, and thank you, Angela, for the question. As people probably know, it is a statutory duty of town and parish councils to provide allotments for their residents if requested, and if challenged, they need to be able to show that they have complied, or at least they have attempted to comply to that need. Ramsgate Town Council has a greater than 170 waiting list for allotments, with residents having to wait 18 months or more before they're offered a plot. Our problem has been that land within Ramsgate is nearly all potentially development land, and currently, according to KCC documents received, development land in Ramsgate fetches more than £1 million per acre. This is way beyond RTC's ability to fund, unless residents were prepared to fund a substantial borrowing in order to do it. Therefore, we have investigated other possibilities, and a 14.2 acre plot of prime grade 1 agricultural land at Thornhill, which is priced at under £13,000 an acre, or about 1/80th of the cost of land in Ramsgate, has become available. So far from being expensive, it may be a viable option for RTC. We are fortunate that the landowner considers its civic duty to offer the land at such a price. RTC, like all public bodies, has a resilience reserve fund designed to be able to meet its commitments in the event of a disaster. This is held in a bank account, currently gaining no interest. Alternative accounts have been sought, but little or no interest is being offered. So an investment in land could be an alternative, with the prospect of perhaps borrowing against the asset should a disaster happen. Having agreed that the proposal is worth investigating, the Council is instigating further investigations before deciding whether to take this prospect forward. Those are, we're consulting all the residents on the allotment waiting list to find whether the prospect would be attractive or otherwise to them. We're also consulting with Minster and Cliffsend parish councils in order to see if they would be willing or would want to participate in the offer. We're obtaining quotes for the likely costs of converting this agricultural land into an allotment. We're also investigating whether any grants are available from the National Lottery or other funding bodies that could help us with this programme. We're investigating what the current terms would be should we have to borrow using the land as security. And finally, we're consulting with various environmental groups in the town to test whether they would be interested in partnering the council in this project. The results of these investigations will be reported back to the council when they are complete, and the council will then make a decision whether to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Town Clerk, question number 2, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. This question has come from Angela Foster. The question is, what pressure is Ramsgate Town Council putting on Thanet District Council to provide adequate recycling for those residents in seafront locations without household collections? I believe, Chairman, you are answering this question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And again, thank you, Angela, for sending this question in. So as we know, waste recycling is all to do with TDC. Your question was what pressure will we put on TDC to make sure that this gets done? We can definitely write to them. This is something that I can ask our councillors that are also TDC, where the TDC had to do. Councillor Alban, is this something that you could write into TDC or ask them about the facilities on the seafront at all?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, obviously, as the Cabinet Member at Thanet District Council for Operational Services, this is within my remit. One of the things that the Council is looking at the moment, as recently said at a Cabinet meeting, is that we are looking to expand our recycling because it isn't good enough. It is one of the things that we would do. What I would ask Angela is if her and any of the other residents within her location, within her street name, if they could get together and by all means contact me through email at Thanet District Council or Ramsgate Town Council, then I will be happy to pursue that on their behalf.
Thank you very much, Councillor Alban. So we'll forward the concerns onto TDC as asked. Thank you very much. Deputy Town Clerk, if we could have question number 3, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. This is not a question, but we're allowing it to come to the meeting. It's from our PCSO, John Litchfield, and I'll just read what he says. As some of you may know, last year we entered Ramsgate into the South and South East in Bloom competition and received a silver gilt and a certificate of recognition from the Royal Horticultural Society. This year we have again entered Ramsgate Town into the small seaside town category, but we have also entered Eastcliff, Addington Street and Westcliff and Chines, as well as a couple of other areas into other categories. Last year was a tough year for all, but the amazing effort put in by volunteers, town council technicians and councillors, we as a town achieved so much. With this year's competition, I am hoping that we can expand and get more councillors involved as we have spread to other areas. There are many ways councillors can get involved and we can bring the community together and make the town look even better than it already does. If any councillors would like to get involved, please feel free to contact me. Thank you, Chairman. That is what John Litchfield has said, and I can report that councillors have agreed several adoptions of flower beds, for example, Estdale Avenue, Langdale Avenue, St Lawrence High Street in Nethercourt, and the graveyard at St. Taking the RTC investment in the community in towards outside of the centre. So we are pushing outwards as well. Also, just a reminder that the Ramsgate Fund is open to any community groups which may need help with funding for planting to a maximum of 3,500, and full council looks at those Ramsgate Fund applications, and you can put those in, the community groups can put those in with your help if you wish, to me personally. Thank you. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you very much. So that ends the questions that we've had written in. Deputy Town Clerk, while you're here, if I could ask advice then, please, about questions that people may want to ask from the reports. Could you advise on what happens now, please?
Members of the community, the electorate, because there needs to be a Ramsgate resident for this meeting, can put in, can submit questions via our website to the Town Clerk or myself. That isn't an issue at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you everybody that's attended this evening. This will be going on the YouTube channel for Ramsgate Town Council. And so if you do have any questions, then please do write in. All the councillors have their email addresses and it's on the Ramsgate Town Council website. And with that, I'd like to say thank you very much and have a good evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.